Right in the beginning of his book titled In Praise of Slowness, Carl Honore recounts one of his favorite memories. He's a teenager on a trip to Europe, in a park somewhere near Rome, waiting for a bus that's running 20 minutes late. Forced to wait, he slips on his Walkman, lies down on a park bench, and listens to Simon and Garfunkel sing about the joys of slowing down and letting the moment last.
A breeze be this lovely. It's like actually soft. I'm trying to feel it. Okay, I think we'll go for a walk.
He depicts the scene in vivid detail and says he can still nearly enter the scene in his mind all these years later. He can picture the clouds floating by, the kids playing near a fountain, even the branches scraping on a stone wall, and a woman carrying her vegetables in a netted bag. Instead of pacing up and down the sidewalk, frantically checking his phone, or complaining about the off-schedule bus, he finds himself lost in the joy of simply doing nothing. A bit later in the book, he recounts a very different memory in the same city. It's 15 years later, and he's rushing to make a flight home to London, dashing through the airport, silently cursing anyone in his way, talking on his phone to an editor, and as he puts it, physically incapable of enjoying doing nothing anymore. I'm often asked, how do I romanticize my life if I don't like where I live? Or if I don't have my dream job yet? Or what if life's just hard right now? How do I romanticize life when it's hard? I love this quote from William Dean Howell, written in 1907. People are born and married and live and die in the midst of an uproar so frantic, you'd think they go mad of it. In this digital age, not only is there so much to do, there's practically nothing we can't do or can't have at any given moment. I think this constant availability takes a toll on us. We're highly alert and practically numb at the same time, distracted and bored, busy and sometimes not even sure why. We experience burnout, comparison, and depletion of body and spirit. This state of being is just not sustainable. I think we need time to just be. Good morning, June. June. Good morning. I read recently that boredom is a modern phenomenon. Before that, we were just capable of enjoying doing nothing. I think it makes sense that everything seems hard to us. When you're piled beneath loads of stuff that's weighing you down, a schedule full of commitments that you don't enjoy, you're just hurrying through life trying to make it, I think everything feels urgent.
Oh, I just heard that hummingbird that makes that nest.
You're perpetually stuck in survival mode. So, what do we do about it? Well, in my life, romanticizing things, even just the simplest of things, has been a tiny step out of survival mode. It's a little everyday invitation to relearn the joy of just being. In his famous speech, This Is Water, David Foster Wallace describes a depiction of adult life. He's in a grocery store at the end of a long workday, full of irritating, annoying people. Yet, Wallace challenges us with this grocery store example that we all have a choice as to how we're going to experience our lives. He says, if I don't make a conscious decision about how to think and what to pay attention to, it's going to seem for the world like everyone else is just in my way. But if you've really learned how to think, how to pay attention, then you'll know you have other options. It will actually be within your power to experience a crowded, loud grocery store not only as meaningful but as sacred, on fire with the same force that lit the stars. I think meditation is great, but I believe that these are the tiny, everyday opportunities that we have to reconnect with presence and wonder and creation and our Creator.
Mama, look.
Tomorrow morning, get up and watch the sunrise. Notice the tiny things in your little corner of the world that only you will get to see and hear, even if they're just incredibly ordinary. Maybe it's a reflection of light, or a cloud, or a bird making a noise that only you're within earshot of. Maybe notice how the air feels, and take a moment to just relish it.
Suddenly, the world I used to know, I see it differently. You woke me from a dream, now here's reality. Baby, baby, you are really hurting me. 'Cause every time you tell me I look good in bed, I'm doing fine, but nothing ever changes. And now I see, baby, you are hurting me. Stuck in repeat. Stop lying.
Really need to wash my hair, but not today. Speaking of relishing, because it's a great word and I'm not even certain that it is a word, I've made a habit recently that I think you're going to enjoy as much as I do, to make everyday luxuries out of little things. Here's a personal example. I love clean sheets. It's a very little thing, but when I take the time to wash my sheets, I look forward to it all day. And then I go on and on about how cozy the sheets are when I finally get to get in them. Sharing some of these kind of feels silly, but I even romanticize brushing my hair, feeling all the little bristles massage my scalp, feeling like a princess with hair that's nice and soft. Often there are little things that when I'm too busy or too hurried or too distracted on my phone, I miss.
What are you doing, Dad? You're filling up.
I'm so grateful for this tree in our yard. But you know what's funny? Pretty much everyone that comes over is like, wow, what a great tree. And it's funny because I never say this out loud, but I find myself often thinking, oh, I wish it was like a different kind of tree. And it's just so interesting that even with the things that like I'm so happy with in my life and like in our yard, like this tree is like a highlight of this house for me. And yet still I find myself wishing it were different.
I'm not always in the mood for this, but since having kids, I've rediscovered the adventure and satisfaction of making simple things at home. This week we tried making tortillas from scratch. I had very low expectations for how they'd actually taste, but the process, the flour, the dough, rolling it out, spending way too much time doing it, was all very therapeutic. And as it typically goes, fresh and homemade was so much better than store-bought. My kids actually said, and I quote, "These are the best things we've ever eaten." I think it's so amazing that kids are just natural at finding the wonder in the simplest of things. They aren't lost yet in comparison or checking the clock. They're just wholeheartedly here in every moment. I was watching them clean out the chicken coop this morning, making more of a mess than actually cleaning, but having the absolute best time doing it and getting so lost in the process. They were creating little nests and beds and then hiding little snacks for the chickens and like sticks for them to play with in their coop. And And I just couldn't help but wonder, why did I get too busy and too grown up for enjoying my mundane tasks?
See stuff on here? I just do this. Then I just don't concrete. And I just run it until I can't see it. I see anything. Mom, I see fish.
I say you're allowed to experience life this way again. If you're too busy to enjoy the little things and little moments in your life, maybe this is your sign to let go. Let go of all the stuff that's keeping you stuck and weighed down. Take time away from commitments that are making you feel like you're rushing through life. Let this be your year of living simply and experiencing the joy of a less complicated life. When I was in Sardinia last year, I couldn't get over how the world's longest living, healthiest people were living in the most isolated mountain villages with no access to the luxuries and conveniences that I have access to every day. I was so moved by how little it actually takes to make a good life. I'd love to see a world with more of us free from the bondage of wanting more, of spending our lives working because it's never enough. Instead, people reclaiming their lives, saying, I have enough, and I desire to work because it's part of my design. It's part of my flourishing because it's what I feel called to, just like rest and play. If you've ever wondered, where do I start with slow living? Start romanticizing your life. This one, this house, today. Be the main character and own it. I hope this video reminds you that we have the power in everyday little moments that maybe no one else will ever see to rescue our lives from perpetual hurry and misery.